In my time writing game reviews, one thing has made itself very clear. Indie games deserve more love. If I had a nickel for every time I saw someone online complain about the lack of games out there when 100 indies released today alone, well, let's just say I'd be one rich, you know the thing. And in a world where some folks actually think the only video games are Madden and Call of Duty, the truth is everyone should be playing more indies. It's in that sentiment this series was born. Hello my bits and bobs, and welcome back to Indie Impact, where I'll be showcasing some indie titles that can be found for free or cheap somewhere on the net, discussing their pros, their cons, and letting you know if they're impacts or setbacks. In today's episode, we'll be talking exclusively about games that are still in development but have demos available. So, without further ado, here are today's selections. I've been sitting on this one since the most recent Steam Next Fest. I wasn't able to check out as many demos as I would have liked that week because my own development studio, Chaos Texture Games, was participating as well, but I was able to check one out, Fluffy Doki Sunshine by Duck Reaction. So the first thing about Fluffy Doki Sunshine's demo that stood out to me is that it appears to be very early in development to the point where there's no narrative and very little structure to the demo as a whole. In the demo, you play as an anthropomorphic sheep, and your primary mission is to collect as many normal sheep as you can to do battle with the antagonistic pigs that follow you around the map. I had a rough time learning how to attack with the player character as the directions were a little vague and plastered on the floor. I did manage to figure it out with enough trial and error, however. Let's take a look at Fluffy Doki Sunshine's pros. I'm not sure what the experience will be like when it launches, but as of now, it appears to have the building blocks for success. Its cartoonish visuals paired with the simplistic gameplay will likely make Fluffy Doki Sunshine a hit with audiences who enjoy relaxing clicker-type games. It was a fun decision to let players become a kaiju and destroy a skyscraper once they collect a total of 400 sheep. I am very hopeful that the final game will feature this mechanic in a more substantial way. I think it'd be really neat if there were other giants to take down as a kaiju. Let's take a look at Fluffy Doki Sunshine's cons. Its sound design could use an overhaul. In this prototype demo, the music sounds like something made by Kevin MacLeod, which is not bad by any means, but I am hoping the musical score for the final release is a bit more varied. The SFX aren't terrible, though they do get a bit repetitive. I am not the biggest fan of how much the prototype feels like your average milquetoast game on Roblox. The reason for this comparison is that the core gameplay loop of collecting sheep feels a lot like those experiences where the mechanic is collecting in-game currency to construct an apartment building or to raise your power level. And while I appreciated the ability to become a kaiju upon amassing 400 sheep, that was one factor that made it feel just like a Roblox experience. So, because this video is made up of nothing but in-development titles, I'm making the decision to abstain from awarding an impact or setback status for now. If I am able to include the finished product in a future episode of Indie Impact, then we'll talk. But for now, you can take Fluffy Doki Sunshine's demo out for a spin by visiting the game's page on Steam, which can be found in the description of this video. I might have never discovered this next title had it not been requested, and since we never get requests on this channel, what kind of creator would I be if I didn't honor the first? BUSTER is an arcade-like cartoon platformer developed by Tall Glass, the team behind the now discontinued Alien Xenocide. It seems to share a lot of visual inspiration with 2023's Pizza Tower for those who've dug into that. In the currently available demo, BUSTER tasks you with sorting a series of blue and orange bombs into their respective containers while avoiding threats seemingly created by a sleep-deprived wizard. I really like the visual direction for this title, which in addition to the Pizza Tower inspiration seems like a callback to some of the more unhinged characters in Undertale, such as Temmie and Burger Pants. I liked experimenting with the controls and mechanics, as while there's a helpful tutorial you can play, it doesn't hold your hand. I recall one level where I had to learn through trial and error that to reach the top area of the level, you have to defy your instincts and throw yourself into the pitfalls and vice versa. I can definitely see myself ravenously marathoning the full game when it launches for what it's worth. Let's take a look at BUSTER's pros. It's quite visually inspired. I love when an indie studio is able to take a concept like this, shake it up with some unique visual aesthetic, and make it really fun to play, all at the same time. I need to take a moment to compliment the audio design because nearly every OST track in the demo is a banger, and the SFX are well placed and complement the on-screen action. Let's take a look at BUSTER's cons. While the demo does not feature separate difficulties, I advise the development team to explore the idea of adding them. I found the levels challenging, but a game like this would benefit from having an easier mode for those who need it, and a harder mode for, masochists. If you'd like to give the BUSTER demo a whirl for yourself, check the description for a link to the game's official page on Steam. I covered Dreaming Sarah in a past episode of Indie Impact, so when I found out it was getting a sequel in the form of Awakening Sarah, I knew I needed to include it in a future episode. If you've experienced the original game, you know more or less what you're getting yourself into. Awakening Sarah is a 2D side-scrolling platformer that, like its older sibling, drops you into a world without any context and tasks you with solving a variety of item-based puzzles to proceed deeper and deeper into the main character's subconscious. I call it a sequel, but developer Asteristic Game Studio has gone out of its way to not call the game a sequel on its official Steam page, so perhaps there's a reason for that. I bring this up because some might wonder if they need to play Dreaming before Awakening, but at least in the current demo, there's not much of a reason to worry about being spoiled. That said, considering Dreaming Sarah is out and Awakening Sarah is still in development, you might as well play them in order. Let's take a look at Awakening Sarah's pros. I honestly felt at home playing the short demo that's currently available. I had a lot of fun with Dreaming Sarah, and so far, Awakening Sarah seems like a visual improvement. I like that Sarah's sprite is a bit more complex while the backgrounds are largely the same. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but the demo ends with something that blew my mind and made me so excited to play the finished game. That's all I'll say, but just wow, I love it. Let's take a look at Awakening Sarah's cons. I said the same thing about Dreaming Sarah, but while I don't dislike the concept of throwing players into the world and expecting them to figure things out, I do think the puzzles should have a bit more connective tissue, if that makes sense. I was lucky to have completed the puzzles in the demo, but I was also thinking like 30 feet from the box, so Awakening Sarah is currently in development, but you can take the demo for a test drive by visiting the game's official page on Steam, a link to which can be found in the description of this video. Thank you for watching this episode of Indie Impact. So, do any of these titles stand out to you? If so, let me know in the comments down below, and while you're at it, be sure to smash that subscribe button to join the bits and bobs, which is what I call my subscribers and followers. If you're an indie developer who'd like to see their game covered in a future episode of Indie Impact, check the description for a link to the Indie Impact submission form. This has been Pixelation, reminding you all to stay pixelated.